Connecticut sees that many VIPs. Or, okay, any. Sometimes between lunch and dinner, when there's a lull, Jill and Shaniqua and I will sit around and fantasize about what we'd do if a real celebrity walked into the place. Like Chad Michael Murray, although we've gone off him a bit since his divorce. Or Jared Padalecki, or even Prince William. You never know. He could have gotten his yacht lost, or whatever. The crazy thing is, even if, by some incredible fluke, an actual VIP like that did show up at the Gull and Gulp, he wouldn't get a seat at the VIP booth. Because in Eastport, Connecticut, the only true VIPs are the quahogs. And that's who the corner booth is always saved for. Any quahog who, for whatever reason, might not have made a reservation at the Gull and Gulp during high season and needs a table. Shocking but true. Every once in a while, a tourist will wander into the restaurant who has never heard of a quahog. Peggy, the manager, had to take me aside my first day working at the Gulp last June when a tourist was like, "What's a quahog?" Only they said it the way it's spelled, quahog, instead of the way it's supposed to be pronounced, which is quahog. And I was all, "You don't know what a quahog is?" And I almost died laughing. Peggy explained to me, very stiffly, that quahogs actually aren't that well known outside of the Northeast, and that people from the Midwest, for instance, have probably never even heard of them before. She was speaking of the bivalve, of course, because that's what a quahog is, a type of clam that when mixed in a pot with a lot of potatoes, onions, leeks, heavy cream, and flour, makes for the Gull and Gulp's best-selling chowder. That type of quahog is what Eastport has been known for since like the 1600s, practically. Now, though, our town is known for a different type of quahog entirely. Because the Quahogs is also the name of Eastport High School's football team, which has won the state championship every year since before I was born, 16 years ago. Well, except for 1 year, the year I was in 8th grade. But no one ever talks about that year. It's hard to say which quahogs the town's residents are proudest of, the clams or the team. If I had to guess, I'd say it's the football team. It's easy to take a clam, especially one that's been around for that long, for granted. The team's only been on its winning streak for a decade and a half. And the memory of what it felt like not to have the best team in the state is still fresh in everybody's mind, since it was only 4 years ago, after all, that they were forced to forfeit that single season. That's why nobody in town questions the corner booth. Even if some local did, for whatever reason, show up at the Gull and Gulp during the summer season without a reservation, he wouldn't expect to be seated in the empty corner booth. That booth is for quahogs and quahogs only. And everybody knows it. Especially my boyfriend, Seth Turner. That's because Seth, following in the footsteps of his big brother, two-time All-State first-team defensive end Jake Turner, is this year's varsity quahog kicker. Seth, like his brother before him, loves the corner booth. He likes to stop by the Gull and Gulp when I'm working and sit there till I'm done, drinking free Cokes and inhaling quahog fritters. Deep-fried dough with bits of clam inside that you dip in a sweet and sour sauce. This is the only kind of quahog I can stand to eat, because the dough masks the quahog's rubbery texture, and the sauce masks their total tastelessness. I am not a fan of the quahog, the bivalve variety, I mean. Not that I've dared mention this to anyone. I don't want to get run out of town. Anyway, then, when my shift is up, Seth puts my bike in the back of his 4x4, and we make out in the cab until my curfew, which is midnight in the summertime. So the corner booth is a total win-win situation, if you ask me. Of course, lots of times, Seth isn't the only quahog in the corner booth. Sometimes his brother, Jake, who now works for their dad's construction company, comes along. Not tonight, though. Tonight, Seth's brought along quahog defensive lineman Jamal Jarvis and his girlfriend Martha Wu, as well as quarterback Dave Hollingsworth.